I think you can safely say you will never buy a UK manufactured product cheaper than now. Well, there, never. I'd call that compelling. Today, I'm about to go and see a wholesaler company that has 3 strategies running as part of a project I'm working on, which is increase sales in Africa, it is increase sales in the UK, and it's create, a higher web presence. What I think we'll discuss today is how basic you have to think to sell into a country like Africa. It's not easy to find who you're trying to talk to in Africa, and you have to go back to basics. I'll talk about some of that later, I think, after I've seen them. And they want to revisit their entire online strategy, which I actually set up, which was quite successful, but they want to review it because things move on and you have to keep pace. And so I'll update you later on what comes out of that conversation. And the session with the wholesaler, and we talked about Africa, we talked about selling more in the UK, we talked about internet marketing, but I'm going to talk about Africa. What we said when I met him a month ago was, you don't know enough people in the African continent. You are expert at selling into that country, to exporting to that country, to delivering UK products successfully and profitably. But you don't tell enough people. And the reason you don't tell enough people is we don't know who they are. And so I used to be a list broker, I used to work in business information, we used to sell lists. And that is one route. You can buy a list of names. I don't think that works for Africa because I don't think that's how their business community is structured. As an example, last night I go onto the internet. We split the list in half, right? He had all the countries in a long list for Africa. He took half, I took half. I go onto the internet last night and start searching for potential contacts in Uganda. There are 2 types of business in Africa, as far as I can see on Google. They are, I don't have a website. I don't actually have an email. I do my business by mobile. And anyone will tell you that mobile business, people doing business using the phone, is a big deal in Africa because of the communication system. So there are those types of people who we cannot discount. I think in the UK you would discount those people. If you went to look at a potential customer in the UK and they didn't have a website, they didn't have an email, I think you would not ring them. I don't think you can make that conclusion when you're targeting Africa. So I took down their details. I then have a different type of company in Africa who is with a website and has an email address which isn't Gmail. Okay. Now they're more sophisticated, so we'll definitely ring those people. But my point is, I can't rule people out with any certainty in Africa. I don't believe. And so we used the same criteria. We did the exercise separately so we could learn from each other, but actually we both did it identically. Even our Google search was exactly the same to find these people. And that was, if you have a website and if you have an email address, which is a company address, we think you're a credible company. You might not be, right? That's the thing about the internet. You don't have to be. You can look better than you are. If you have a Gmail account, but you don't have a website address, we'll definitely ring you. And if you have just a mobile, even though we wouldn't normally, we'll ring you. And so that was the segmentation or the split. There are 3 types of business person in Africa, all equal in potential because we just don't know because of the way business works over there. We then said, well, how shall we contact them? What shall we do? And somebody said, shall we send a MailChimp? I said, no, I don't think so. We could do. And it'll be glossy and professional, product specific, that kind of thing. We could do that. But as we just put this amount of effort into finding contact names and learning about these people, looking at their websites, looking at any press on these people, you know, we've put all that extra effort in because these aren't sales. These are resales. If I find one relationship in Africa, they sell my product again and again and again. I make money not today. I make money today, tomorrow, and next year, and potentially beyond. And so why would we put all the effort into research and then automate the communication? I don't think you can do that. The second element of would we MailChimp or mail merge, I don't think so, because whilst we are going to personalise, half these people have Gmails. A third of these people just have mobile phones. We need to do this one by one. Now, I know that takes a lot of time and there are 100 targets. We need to literally, or you do, as the business customer, sit down and write an email as if you were going to talk to someone. And for this particular list, the Africa targets, write a text message on your phone as if you were talking to someone. Because we know they have a proven track record selling into Africa. We know nobody knows that, or very few people know that. And so all I have to do is say, here's a compelling reason why you should call me, and here's my number. And if I tell enough people in the right place, the purpose of the research, they'll ring me. What was the compelling reason? So here's my idea, which is, whilst for many companies in the UK this is a bad thing, the pound is exceptionally weak at the moment due to all the uncertainty about the EU. We're all going to get fairly tired of that, I think, but, you know, the EU decision and so on. So the pound is very weak. Now, if you are a manufacturer buying in material from other countries, that's very bad, because it means the cost of making your product has gone through the roof. However, if you're a wholesaler or a distributor and you're selling other people's products and they haven't put the prices up, and of course they haven't, because we're still kind of mixing around in the austerity culture, you know, everyone's price sensitive still. If they haven't put their prices up and this supplier hadn't, then instead of being a negative, it's actually a really good positive if you're exporting original equipment, okay, OEM stuff. Because my price hasn't gone up here. We're still talking about sterling. But in countries which are dollar-centric, so if you take Africa, or any country where the dollar is viewed as a credible, reliable currency and people deal in dollars, in business terms, especially with export and import, suddenly my product became extremely attractive because it's a lot cheaper to you, the customer. I still get the same amount of money. The manufacturer gets the same amount of money, even though it may have cost them more to make it. And suddenly, the value for money to somebody in Africa has gone up and up and up as the pound has gone down and down and down. And so our compelling message is this. You haven't heard of us. We export to Africa, in your country specifically, whether it be Ghana or Kenya or wherever, all the time. We're reliable. We're using high-quality manufactured UK product. And you will never buy it cheaper than now. Yeah, I think that's fair. I was going to say, well, the pound will go up and down and so on, and maybe not for 5 years or so, but who knows? The point being, I think you can safely say you will never buy a UK manufactured product cheaper than now. Well, there, never. I'd call that compelling. So we're basically going to text these people, email these people, and say, look how weak our currency is. That's fantastic for you. You should ring us right now, and we will bring quality UK manufactured product safely, securely, reliably into your African country, and you will pay in real terms, because you pay in dollars, a fraction of the value. Then we talk about, what would I call it? And I'll go on a minute into the UK. Well, I'll do the UK. They've had this box of magnets on their table for about a year that they keep planning to send out to UK companies. Promotional magnets. It's a good thing, magnets. People keep them. They pin them on machines and so on. And they said, OK, what should we do with these? I said, well, you've been talking about this for a long time. Said, yes, we just need to get the contacts. I'm going through all the contacts. I'm checking them. I'm so on. I'm checking all the information. I'm doing the research. And we're trying to do the content. And to be honest, I have been party of that theory, you know, let's get it right. Today I wasn't. I think because I was coming straight off the Africa chat. Today I was like, let's buy a list. Let's not check it. It come from a reliable list broker. Let's use the power of mail merge for the UK. Let's do the exact opposite of Africa, because these are one-off sales. These aren't resales. Let's just get the magnets out there. Because when they're sitting on your desk, they're doing nothing. Better to have an OK campaign sent out and absorbed by the potential customers than a great campaign that hasn't been sent out. And so that's how I left them. I was like, you need to go through your list for Africa and put out the contact. Everything is tailored. It's going to take you more time. Do that weak currency advantage for them pitch and expand your reseller network abroad. For the UK, let's just send the damn things out. Buy a list, merge the list, 400 letters by the end of the day, 400 signatures. That'll make your wrist ache. Hit the stamps on these envelopes, send them out, because contact makes money.